anyway, I was looking at this article online that was called Common Words You're Misusing, or Common Words That You're Using Incorrectly, You Moron You, or something like that it was called, words to that effect. And I thought I'd read it, and one of the words that the article accused me of misusing was the word nauseous, also pronounced nauseous. Now, the article said that nauseous only means causing nausea in a person. So like if you see a scene in a movie where somebody's intestines get pulled out with a salad fork, or their eyeball gets gouged out with an ice cream scoop, that might make you nauseous, or it might make you nauseated rather, and therefore it would be nauseous. And they said that you shouldn't use it to say you feel nauseous, because see, that was the point, was that they said when people have nausea they say, oh, I'm nauseous, and they said, ha, if you say that, because what you mean is you're capable of generating nausea in other people. So that gory scene in a movie or something like that, or something bad that you ate maybe, might make you nauseated, but it would be nauseous because it's the thing that caused the okay, up here in the attic I have an old dictionary. How old? 1827 like it looks? No, not quite that old I don't think, but still the same. We're gonna check that out here. And okay, the old dictionary says let's see, nauseous, also pronounced nauseous, causing nausea or disgust, like the online article said. And then it says and then it also says I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Affected with nausea or disgust. Dust got my way there. So you see, both words, both meanings of that word are legitimate use of the word. You see, and it says here, usage, this little footnote, usage. Those who insist that nauseous can properly be used only in sense one, causing nausea or disgust, are in error. Current evidence shows these facts. Nauseous is most frequently used to mean physically affected with nausea. Extended use is quite a bit less frequent. So you see, it's actually okay to say nauseous when you feel nauseated. And that article was written by somebody too clever for his or her own good, because I tell you, it's okay to say nauseous when you feel nauseated. So that's all from us. We'll see you again next week, once again here in the Mask Fan Attic. Oh, mask! Wait, that's right, mask. We're going to talk about masks before we go. Okay, this one is a great mask from a long time ago. This is a real moldy golden oldie from way back in 1979. Suddenly I'm a DJ. Way back in 1979, this is a Savage Eye Witch. And, well, I think witch is a pretty good name for it because it looks like a witch. And when I say it's a Savage Eye Witch, I mean, of course, it was made by the Savage Eye Company. Sometimes called the Savage Eye, sometimes just called Savage Eye. Now, Savage Eye masks were only in production for a few years, but they were trying to give Don Post Studios a run for their money. They did a lot of classic monsters and a lot of original characters. Personally, I tend to like their original characters better than I did their takes on movie characters. They especially, Savage Eye especially had a nice way with sort of mythological characters from folklore, that sort of thing. This particular witch, good heavens, this is not a recast or something. This one has been in existence on the planet since 1979, which is probably makes this mask a lot older than most of the people who will watch this segment. But I liked it so much back in the day. I liked the mask so much. At one of the haunted attractions I did, I actually sort of designed a whole room around it. Back in the 1980s, there was a whole display just for the Savage Eye Witch. Now, Savage Eye masks are not as common today as some of the other masks made back then, like Don Post and Be Something and Distortions. I think one of the reasons for that is that they were made of some weird kind of rubber. It seemed to have, now I heard stories that the rubber they used had sand in it to make it go further. I don't know that that's true. I've not been able to confirm that. But whatever they were made of, it was not as nice a rubber as Don Post and some of the other companies were using, as evidenced by the fact that it wasn't as stretchy and bouncy. It didn't have the same elasticity, it didn't have the same memory. Whereas a Don Post mask, if you punched a certain place of it in, it would be very eager to pop back into shape. The Savage Eye masks were more floppy, and you really had to stuff them to get them to maintain their shape because they kind of wanted to droop and sag. Now, Savage Eye masks had fur hair instead of hand-laid hair, which usually looked pretty good, usually looked great. As you can see, the Witch was done with a big, specially made sort of fur wig, which they then would turn under at the side, at each side on the front, so that you wouldn't see too much of the back side of the netting of the acrylic netting backed fabric on the other side of the fur. And I love this kind of fur. A lot of masks used to have this kind of silver gray mix. You don't see this type of fur too often these days. But the Witch here is also an example of some of the Savage Eye Company's innovations. Now, Mr. Charles Curtis, who founded Savage Eye and sculpted almost all of the masks, had some pretty darn good ideas. Now, one of which was this bib, which allowed people to wear the mask with a costume that was open a little bit at the top and showed a little skin, basically. And that was very unusual back then. There just weren't any masks that came on down and had, you know, big front bibs or back bibs or anything. Masks pretty much stopped at the neck. So this was innovative to do this. And I thought this was just so cool. Back in the day, I had a skull from Savage Eye that had a little bit of a rib cage in the front. And I thought that was really like state-of-the-art amazing, because you didn't see masks like that. And the other thing Savage Eye was noted for was the addition of zippers. Still dusty up here. And since then, other companies have put zippers in their masks from time to time. But Savage Eye was the first to do it. So back in 1979 and the early 80s, if you were having a haunted house attraction and you wanted to give one of your helpers a mask to wear that would pull their hair out when they tried to take it off, that would have a zipper that would, you know, catch in their hair and painfully rip their hair out, you had no choice but to buy a Savage Eye, because they were the only game in town as far as masks with zippers and bibs. Now this one is in pretty much original condition. That is to say, I have not done anything to it. This is all the original paint job. It's the original fur. It's the original zipper. I haven't done anything to it. So this is basically what they look like. That pretty much sums it up for the Mask Fanatic for this week. Keep an eye out, like the Witch, for Savage Eye products. They're rare, but you do sometimes find them turning up on places like eBay these days. So enjoy Halloween with a Savage Eye Witch. Yeah.